What is up? Part 3 of the entire Atticus Dini CD collection series. We're going to be talking about letters F through J today. If you haven't seen the last 2 parts of this series, I covered the first bit of the alphabet. We're on to letter F starting now. We still have a lot more to go. This is the midpoint of the series. I believe there's 3 more episodes after this one. These orders are made by the last name of an artist, not the first name. Make sure to look for the episode with the last name of the artist, not the first name, basically. Okay, to start the episode off, we have a very weird scenario here. We have Feist, Let It Die, but no, it's not actually that album. It's secretly The Reminder by Feist. I bought this CD at a Goodwill and it had the wrong disc in the case. I actually knew a couple songs from this one, but I don't know anything from The Reminder. So I got this and started listening, and I was very disappointed because it didn't have my favorite songs on. My favorite song from Let It Die would be One Evening, I believe. I never listened to this. Basically no favorite song. Next up we have Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor. I believe this is Lupe Fiasco's first album. Classic pop rap. I love pop rap. It's what I grew up on. I found this for cheap at a thrift shop and I had to pick it up. Favorite song on here is probably Kick Push, but also that's just the mainstream one, so I might have to listen to that one a few more times. Next up we have What Could Possibly Go Wrong by Dominic Fike. This is Dominic Fike's debut album. A lot of people did not like this one, but I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. Favorite song on here is probably Joe Blazy or Good Game. Next up we have a very recent pickup, Flying Lotus, Cosmogramma. I know Flying Lotus is an insane producer, so I had to check this out. It was very cheap, as you can see. Still has the price tag on it. What a great deal. I listened to this the other night, but I gotta listen to it again. No favorite song yet. Next up we have an absolute banger, the Free Nationals self-titled album. The Free Nationals are Anderson .Paak's backing band. They took it upon themselves to make their own album, and it's insane. So many great songs on this album. My favorite song on here gotta be Apartment with Benny Sings, but also like all these other ones are almost equally as good. Next up we have Fruit Bats. I said this for one of the CDs in the other episode, but I picked this up just because of the little Sub Pop logo, and I was not very impressed. I didn't really like this one that much. It was alright. I've only listened to this like once or twice, but as of right now, no favorite song. Next up we have Some Nights by Fun. I was into this CD a lot when I was in high school, but I don't listen to it as much now, but I'm still glad I have it. Favorite song on here is Why Am I the One? Next up we have a funny one, Chris Gaines' Greatest Hits. Chris Gaines is Garth Brooks' alter ego for like a movie or something. I've heard that the movie didn't actually come out, and he ended up putting out an album. However, Childish Gambino covered one of these songs on a Triple J video, Lost in You, and that's definitely my favorite one. That's the only reason I have that CD, to be honest. Next up, I have 2 that I'm gonna do together, Gnarls Barkley, Street Elsewhere, and Gnarls Barkley, The Odd Couple. This duo made 2 albums back in the day, this one having their biggest hit, Crazy. I picked them up because they were both really cheap, and I don't listen to them that much, but they are pretty cool. Favorite song on this one is Crazy, and favorite song on this one is Going On. Next up, we have a small little EP, Go For Broke, Mad. This is an album by one of my friends at Drexel. They make cool music, and I have not listened to this that much, but I do know that I like the song Final Destination. Next up, we have Holly Golightly, Truly She Is None Other. I've listened to this once or twice. I picked it up because I thought it looks cool. However, I don't really have a favorite song. I just remember that I kind of liked it. Next up, we have a crazy one, Good Music, Cruel Summer. Now, sadly, this is clean because I think I got it from Walmart. Legendary album and very cool case. It's got like crazy stuff in here as well. Even though this is clean, I'm glad I have this. Favorite song on here gotta be Click or The Morning. New Godflow is also good as well. Next up, we have Ariana Grande, Sweetener. I was given the CD as payment for helping out at an art show. I played music there. I like all the Pharrell production on here especially, and I feel like it makes for some of the more memorable tracks that Ariana Grande has ever made. Favorite song on here probably is REM or Blazed or Sweetener. I don't know, one of those. Next up we have Ariana Grande's newest album, Positions. I bought this CD because I thought it was going to be more exclusive. It said it had like a limited edition cover. It definitely is limited edition, I guess, but it like was available for so long, it's not really that rare. The album's okay though, definitely not as good as Sweetener in my opinion. My favorite song on here is the title track, Positions. Next up we have Grid, Diablo. I mentioned this in the last episode, but my friend Bay picked up a bunch of CDs off the street one day, and this was one of them. It's electronic music. I've listened to it once and I haven't come back yet. It has its place in time, but I don't have a favorite track. Next up, we have a classic, Gym Class Heroes, The Paper Cut Chronicles Volume 2. As a kid, I loved Gym Class Heroes, especially Travis McCoy, another pop rap god. I picked this up just for nostalgia purposes and just to hear the whole thing, because I've heard all these snippets from the iTunes store back in the day and never heard the full songs. Favorite track on here is probably Ass Back Home. Next up, we have Funkway Bounces Volume 1 by Calvin Harris. Part 2 just came out, and I can confidently say that Part 1 is the better better of the two. This album has so many hits and probably one of the best pop songs of all time written, which is Slide. That being said, Slide, Cash Out, and Fakin' It, and maybe Feels Too are my favorites. It's a really good album. Next up we have Imogen Heap, Speak For Yourself. I bought this for Good Night and Go and Hide and Seek. It's definitely a very creative album. Favorite song on here is probably Good Night and Go. Next up we have The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I picked this up when I was back in Maine recently in a thrift shop, and it's very solid. I had never listened to it all the way through, but it's just a fun, groovy listen. Favorite song is probably one of the hits though, Doo Wop or like X Factor. Next up we have a very odd one, Hollow Sud, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that other part. I don't know what that says. This album was labeled as synth pop in a little store in Maine. It is synth, but I would not call it pop. It's very much like dance music, or like I wouldn't call it rave music. It's pretty chill. It's like instrumental electronic music. I think it's either track 4 or 5. I'm not even gonna try and say the names. There's one of the songs in here that I actually think is pretty sick. Next up we have Under the Weather by Home Shake. I got this album for a sweet deal considering that I do like this type of indie music. Very, very, very chill. Kind of like Mac DeMarco, but like more electronic, I'd say. Almost like some of his demos. I don't really have a favorite song on here, even though I do like the album in whole. I just haven't paid attention to the track list while I'm listening, really. Next up we have Hive Mind by The Internet. The Internet is a legendary band with Steve Lacy, Sid, Matt Martians, and some other people. I forget who the other people are. But Hive Mind is a sick album all the way through. Very glad I have this. Favorite song on here is probably La Di Da. Next up we have Michael Jackson Thriller 25th Year Edition or something. I don't really know what this is. My friend Bay had this and he gave it to me. If Human Nature is on here, then that's my favorite track. Next up we have Jay-Z, The Blueprint 2, The Gift, and The Curse. I bought this album because I saw it for cheap one day, and I know Tyler, the creator, shouted out like 3 of the songs on here are some of his favorite Jay-Z songs, and they are pretty good. This is a cool album. Lots of Pharrell production. My favorite song on here would probably be Fuck All Night. Keeping it going with the Jay-Z, we have Jay-Z The Hits Collection Volume 1. And this was one of the first CDs I ever bought for myself, so it does hold a special place in my heart. I'm pretty sure it's clean. If I remember correctly, it is clean since I was like 10 when I bought it. But obviously it has a lot of hits, you know, based off the name, and just a lot of good songs. This really got me into like rap music when I was younger. One of my favorite tracks on here nowadays is Encore, which is kind of funny because back in the day I used to not like that because I didn't think it was as good as Numb Encore with Linkin Park. But now I like them both a lot, and regular Encore is probably my favorite song on the album. Next up we have Jay-Z and Kanye West, Watch the Throne. I bought this back when it wasn't on Spotify because I wanted to hear it in full, and I had never heard it in full. And now I'm just holding on to the CD because I do think it's a crazy box. Shout out Virgil for the design on this, I believe, and Ricardo Tisci or something like that. My favorite songs on here are Otis and Gotta Have It, and they're right back to back, which is one of the sickest back to back like duo songs ever, I think. Rounding out the Jay-Z collection, we have 444. I bought this when it came out because it wasn't on Spotify and I wanted to hear it, and it's great. It's a solid album. Production on here is sick. My favorite song is Marcy Me, I believe. Next up we have J. Cole, Born Sinner Deluxe. The CD is super cracked, but I did find it for a good deal, so I had to pick it up. This album also has like most of my favorite J. Cole songs, to be honest. Gotta highlight Power Trip, Land of the Snakes, Crooked Smile, Let Nas Down, all those are sick. Next up we have Jefferson Starship. I bought this because I had heard about this band in a class I took actually, and I've only listened to it once or twice, but it's really cool. Very sick art. I like this a lot, very retro looking art, but I do not have a favorite song from here yet. I don't really know the track names. Next up we have Tobias Jesso Jr. I went and got this CD off Amazon. It's very low quality, like this shit is like bent up and like kind of flattened by now, but it is an interesting listen. I know he's written for like Adele and stuff. Favorite song on here is probably Without You. Next up we have Jimmy Stack, Promotional Only. This was like an EP slash beat tape thing that Jimmy Stack put out, and this CD was actually released in vending machines for free, and one of them was in New York. I have a video of me going out to get this CD on this channel, so you should go watch it. It was a cool journey. I don't really have a favorite track because all of them are pretty sick, and they're all pretty short and instrumental, but overall very cool project. I'm glad I have this. We got 2 more CDs for the video. This is Joji, Ballads 1. I literally just filmed an unboxing video for this, so that'll probably be out on the channel by the time this video comes out. I finally found it for a good price, so I had to pick it up. Favorite song on here is probably XNXX or Test Drive or One. I don't know. There's a lot of really good songs on this album. And last but not least, we have one of the most commonly found albums at any Goodwill you go to. Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. This is a pretty good album. It's very jazzy. Favorite song on here is probably 7 Years or Don't Know Why. And with that, we have wrapped up part 3 of the CD collection video series. This will probably be the last time you see me with this long hair. It's getting really annoying. I have to fix it so much, and it's gonna be gone very soon. Make sure to leave a like, comment which CDs you like out of here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye.